Women's Forum. I would like to start by acknowledging the Darug people as the original custodians of the land that we meet on this evening. We pay our respects to elders past and present and acknowledge the Aboriginal people for their custodian of this land. Tonight's MC is someone who I'm sure is familiar to many of you, Emmy Roy. Emmy was the 2023 Blacktown City Woman of the Year. She is an amazing storyteller, creating socially and culturally relevant audio, visual, and print stories to help spread the message of inclusion. Emmy connects with all generations within our community with a strong focus on migrant communities. Emmy is a mentor and a speaker. Through her many projects, Emmy has started conversations to encourage an inclusive community. In her work, she has unfolded the powerful stories of several women. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming our MC for this evening, Emmy Roy.
Thank you, dear Mayoress. That was a wonderful, wonderful introduction. I feel much more than what I really deserve. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As the Mayoress mentioned, my name is Emmy Roy, and I'll be your host for tonight's Women's Forum. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we live and work in. Also would like to pay my respects to the Aboriginal elders, past, present, and emerging, and also extend that respect to any person of Aboriginal origin that may be joining us tonight. So after the roaring success of the Women's Forum last year, I can see that again here tonight. What an amazing turnout. Thank you so much for braving this winter weather, the polar blast and everything, and, making sure that you're here. So, welcome to one and all. Please give yourself a huge round of applause, everyone. Let's start on a real positive note. So I'll quickly take you through the housekeeping duties, the housekeeping, things that we need to observe tonight. The bathrooms are located at the rear of the room. So to your right would be the ladies, and to your left would be the gentlemen's. And, in the unlikely event of a fire or an emergency, you will see the exit doors are towards your left. And the assembly point is actually outside at the back of the car park. And if there is any problems, like the people that you will have to follow would be the people from Blacktown Council, these wonderful women who've been working so hard to put this event together. They're all dressed in black tonight. Very unique, right? Yeah. So please, could you do a small wave so that we can place you? The women of Blacktown Council. And I would now like to acknowledge the VIPs who have joined us here today. Would you please welcome Mayor of Blacktown City, Councillor Brad Bunting, who's joined by the Mayoress Norma Bunting. Councillor Julie Griffiths, AM. Councillor Kathy Collins, OAM. Councillor Kushpinder Kaur. Councillor Dr. Maninder Singh, who I believe is making his way here. Councillor Susai Benjamin, OAM. I'm sure Susai was here. Yep, must be taking a call or something. Councillor, you're there? Yeah, there you go. Okay. Councillor Alan Green, the CEO of Blacktown City Council, Kerry Robinson, OAM. So before we begin the proceedings of tonight, just to set the vibe of the day or the night, I know that there are several different reasons why we are all here. Some of us are working here, some of us are living here, some of us really care about some of the things that we're going to discuss tonight, quite passionate about a lot of things. But I'm pretty sure there is one thing common to all of us. We're all Blacktown women. I am a proud Blacktown woman, so we would love to hear from all of you if you're proud Blacktown women as well. So when I do 3, 2, 1, can we all say, I am a proud Blacktown woman? And to the gentlemen tonight, please say, I stand with the Blacktown women. Yeah? All set? Okay, let's do 3, 2, 1. There you go. How beautiful is that? Thank you so much for playing along. It's very risky, but thanks. So I would now like to call on the Mayor, Brad Bunting, to officially open the 2024 Blacktown City Council Women's Forum. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Emmy, and I won't stand behind there. I feel more comfortable out here. Welcome, everybody, this evening to the 2024 Women's Forum. We're a fantastic night to be here, and a little bit nervous in a room full of this many women, but I'm sure you'll be very kind to me tonight. I did catch one lady that I was lining up for some food, and she says to me, "And how do you get to come here tonight?" And I just pointed to my badge, and I'm the mayor. And she's a little bit embarrassed, but that's okay. Also, I want to give a shout out to the mayoress. Absolutely fantastic tonight. So nervous before coming here tonight. The first time she's actually got up on stage, the first time she's actually spoken into a microphone in front of a crowd as well. So what a fantastic job that she did here tonight. But life's like this, and forums are like this, to get out of your comfort zone, to be able to do something that you don't normally do. So I want to make sure that you, everybody here, is doing that here tonight as well. Get out of your comfort zone a little bit, talk to the people around you, talk to somebody you don't know, start communicating with other people in the community. In Blacktown, we're very, very proud of our women and what women do here in Blacktown. We hold a Women's Day awards breakfast every year. It's led by our fantastic Women's Advisory Committee, who's led by Councillor Julie Griffiths, has been here for umpteen amount of years. Julie, we won't embarrass you by how many years you've been here for, but they do a great job, not only just that, but other things within our community as well, be able to lead the way and advise council on women's issues within our community. Can I say thank you also to our Blacktown women councillors that are running it here, especially Nicole. There she is over there. Give her a big round of applause to Nicole for putting this all together tonight. And we're here in this room because we've outgrown the room we were in last year, which is a fantastic effort to go from a small room into our bigger room, because there's so many people that want to come along to an event like this, an event that is really important to council, to make sure that we're getting out and about. And we do a number of different forums throughout the year. We do pop-up forums where we'll go to shopping centres and we'll see people just passing by to come and tell us what they think about council, what we can do better, what they like about us. And it's important that us as council and councillors get out amongst the community and talk to people about what they think council should be. Because as councillors, we're here to represent you. And the only way that we can represent you is to go and talk to you. So that's what we're doing here tonight. We're talking to the women of Blacktown to understand what you want to see from council, what you think that council can do for you, and the ways to make this community a better place for everybody to live in. So I'm looking forward to hearing from lots of people tonight, listening to lots of people. There'll be lots of listening with this many women in the room, but that didn't go down too well, did it? No. But in all honesty, it is very important that we keep doing these things. This is the biggest forum that I understand that we do throughout the year. So congratulations for everybody coming out here on this very, very cold night to be part of this evening tonight. And I hope you have a fantastic evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Can I please call upon Councillor Julie Griffiths, AM, Chair of the Blacktown City Council Women's Advisory Committee, to come and address the gathering. Surprise!
I just said which way. It was like, I felt like it was blocked off. Hello, everybody. Oh, you're a bit quiet. Well, you know, when we look in a room this size and we look at where we have come, it's a big change. you look at the vast majority of women from different cultures, different age groups, and we think we must be doing something right. So, as everyone said, Councillor Julie Griffiths, I am the chair of the Women's Advisory Committee, and like to acknowledge someone that's been here longer than me, Councillor Collins. She is the longest standing female councillor on Blacktown Council. I've just stuck my foot in the water. Kathy's been there for a while. So, I also would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the Darug people as the traditional custodians of this land and pay my respects to all elders. Firstly, can I say a big thank you on behalf of Council's Women's Advisory Committee for coming tonight, for everybody that's turned up. This year, we were inundated with replies to our forum invitations. Within a week, we hit 240 people wanting to attend tonight, and there were people on our waiting list. Now, that showed me two things. Firstly, here in Blacktown City, we have a tremendous number of women who are willing and able to step forward and help make our city a better, safer, and more sustainable place for women. Secondly, here in Blacktown City, we have an amazing number of women who are leaders in a range of volunteer organisations across clubs, businesses, government, and community groups. It is my privilege to chair our Women's Advisory Committee. It was set up in 2017, 2018, and the committee's work is vital in advising and steering Council's agenda on women's issues. We have support for the Wash House in Mount Druitt, Blacktown Women and Girls Health Centre, the Harmon Foundation, to name just a few. We supported the establishment of a new women's refuge in Darug and the reopening of the Women's Shed in Quakers Hill, who have a stand over here, which is back. Raise your hand, back. So go and visit them. So the Women's Advisory Committee coordinates our NIPBOM projects, which was established to raise awareness on DV, and that was one of our original programs. And can I say, I remember being asked by a fellow councillor, what's knitting got to do with domestic violence? I said, well, you've just given yourself the answer, now I can tell you. So by having a project that is out in the public eye, they come and they'll ask, well, what are you knitting the trees for? Well, it's our process to be able to educate people about domestic violence. So it gives you the in and the opportunity to have that conversation. I'm also extremely proud that the Memorial Grove in Blacktown Showground was an initiative of this committee supporting families and domestic violence. And I thank our council CEO, I thank all my councillors and mayors, because without their support, some of these things would never get delivered, because you know, we have to vote for it on the floor of chamber and we have to spend the money, and without their support, sometimes things may not get delivered. But without the fact that our council support our initiatives is a great thing for our community. Council has supported the inclusion of Blacktown City's Women's Forum, which is a great opportunity to have this feedback included in Council's community profile. So a lot of the information that comes out of the forums that we have run goes into all of our community and women agenda that we have on Council. I ask each of you to throw yourself into the feedback sessions with Angela, who's down here. Raise your hand, Angela. And let's hear your voice both there and in this question and answer session. It's so important. And on that note, don't let it end here tonight. It's important for women to have a say and ensure our voices are heard on matters that affect you. Remember, we think differently. We think about things that affect our community, whether it's our kids, whether it's our aged care, whether it's our libraries. We think a different process. So it's very important that women are involved in these processes, because without you, we don't get it right. We want more women voices in local government, more women in leadership roles in political parties, no matter what persuasion. So we want more women in unions, in employer organisations, in parliament, in business, in sports and community organisations. Believe me, speaking from experience, the more you get involved, the more rewarding it becomes. And for a lot of you, you know the things that you've done, and you know that the work that you've done, you end up coming out with something that you are highly proud of. Local councils are the closest to the people and our community, our children, our elderly, and many multicultural groups who now call Blacktown home. The avenues to get involved are here, but we want you to be more than just involved. We want you to be leaders. Let's make some real change. Let's get involved and let's make a difference. Well done, everybody. And the last thing I'll say, isn't this a fantastic piece of artwork? Has anyone had a look at this? Mate, I've got to say, whoever put that together has done a fantastic job. So let's put a round of applause to all the council staff for they're here. Let's also thank TAC and all the media team that are here as well, and the people that are feeding us tonight. Give them a round of applause. So I'm going to hand the phone over to Ernie now, and I look forward to hearing some more from you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Griffiths. Can we please get you to stay back? Aligning with what she just spoke about the women in leadership, she is going to be a representative in the panel tonight, talking about women in government, women in leadership. So we're very pleased to have you here. I would also like to welcome the other panel members for tonight. Elfa Morais-Tekis, CEO of Syd West Multicultural Services. Dr. Valentine Mukuria, Dean of ACU Blacktown. And Detective Inspector Kylie Evans, Blacktown Police Area Command. This evening, we are going to be hearing from this panel of highly insightful women. And this panel has been carefully curated based on the feedback that was received at the previous Women's Forum. You said, we listened, and here they are, ready to talk to you. So how we're going to play this tonight is we will start with the panel members introducing themselves, and they will also share some insights around their area of expertise. And after that, instead of going down the path of the traditional panel discussions, we are going to open to the floor for a Q&A session, for a full-on Q&A session. So please feel free to put your thinking caps on after they speak. It would be your opportunity, ladies. Tonight, it's all about yourselves and the gentlemen who are taking a stance tonight. Talk about inclusivity, right? So you will get opportunities to ask them questions after that. So first of all, let us hear from them. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We would like to ask you to share some of your thoughts around, your area of expertise, and also what are the different issues that you see in the Western Sydney community amongst the women of Western Sydney community. If you could please start by introducing yourself first and then talk a little bit about that. And in the interest of time, if you could please keep it under 3 minutes, that would be great, so that I know once you start talking, it's so hard. But yeah, I would humbly request you to keep it under 3 minutes. And let us start with Elfa Morais-Tekis. Elfa, Syd West Multicultural Services, the organisation supports so many women in our community. So could you please introduce yourself and also share the important work you do? You need a microphone, I know.
Thank you. I choose to sit down. Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be in a room full of like-minded women. As Emmy said, I'm Elfa. I'm the CEO of Syd West Multicultural Services, a leading multicultural organisation in Western Sydney on all matters of diversity, and recently joining forces with an equally large organisation in the inner west and the city of Sydney, so that expands our footprint a little bit further out from the west and the outer west. Our vision is to create an inclusive society where all have an opportunity equally to thrive and grow. And we do that through providing quality services, a variety of services, from settlement support for families that settle in Western Sydney the first 5 years of their settlement, to in-home aged care services. We have the largest senior social support language-specific and multicultural program with 27 senior social support groups, disability support services, of course, youth services, and women and families, where we are providing support to women living in Blacktown and in Penrith, from play groups to social connections to excursions to teaching them the Australian way of life, so they can settle in Western Sydney in a way that is, we create a cohesive society and we have an equal understanding of what the Australian laws are all about. We are part of the local domestic violence networks, and we are also part of the newly formed DV New South Wales Refugee and Migrant Network, where we provide our input and try and influence policymakers with all the nuances that come with culture. Being conscious of time, sorry. What we see on our day-to-day work within Syd West is the additional challenges that women from refugee and migrant backgrounds face. And we are talking about lack of economic, participation, lack of equal job opportunities, the lack of networks, and we all know that in order to get jobs, networks and connections are very important. Lack of representation, as Councillor Griffith suggested. And to top it all up, of course, it is something that we are all very much aware of, which is the issue of domestic violence. And I'm talking about coercive control, especially for women that are under very specific types of visas, such as temporary visas, spouse visas, where there is a difficulty in accessing services for free. I think that Councillor Griffiths really covered what I believe and our organisation believes that the solution is, and this is basically, let's stick together as women and try and put forward as many women as we can in platforms where they can be represented in order to be able to have equal voices around the table. That's it from me.
Thank you so much, Elfa. Just to remind Valentine and Kylie, I had asked Elfa to introduce herself as well, so we missed out on that, it looks like. We can always catch up. And I'd be, brave enough to say that Elfa's work is so intertwined with her personality. So that's who she is, that's what she does. All right, so now moving on to Dr. Valentine. So you're basically the Dean of ACU Blacktown, and education is so important for women in our community. So how does education play a role, and how does education enable women? If you could please introduce yourself and also share your insights on how education and women empowerment is related.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me 30 minutes instead of 3 minutes to do this, unless I misheard you. But I'll stick to 3 minutes. So my name is Valentine Mukuri, and I'm the campus dean of the Australian Catholic University's Blacktown campus. We celebrated our 3rd-year birthday anniversary just a couple of months ago in March, and we actually had our first graduating cohort this year in May. So with a couple of hundred, a bit over 100 students graduating from that. So it's a testament to just the sort of outcomes that we have with a university now in Blacktown. Just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Kenya, after which I left for the US, where I studied my master's in business, and then proceeded to do my doctorate in educational policy and leadership. And I think it's with the sorts of experiences around education in that sense that really makes it a lived experience about the value and the power of education. And I remember growing up, you know, you have all your parents, your relatives, everyone drumming it into you about how important education is. And I think one of the things that resounds with that is the belief that education is about the one thing that nobody can take away from you. So despite, you know, migration experiences, loss of identity, moving to a new place, when you do have an education, it sticks with you, whether you have the papers or you don't. And I think that's one of the things that then speaks to our role here in Blacktown with the Australian Catholic University. So with the Blacktown campus, we offer a range of courses. A number of you would have visited our table, and if you haven't, I'll know because you don't have chocolate in your hand. Anyone who has chocolate has visited the table. So after this, make sure you pass by there because I'll be checking for everyone with chocolate. So we do offer a number of courses at the Blacktown campus, and we also have a number of campuses across Australia. So we have quite a large national geographic footprint of the different programs that we offer. So with being here in Blacktown, I would encourage women to begin to explore education opportunities right here at your doorstep, but then with the aspiration, should you wish, to take up more opportunities in any of our campuses, Melbourne, Queensland. We do have a campus in Rome as well, so just in case anyone is interested in extended travel. And I think what it is that's been very inspiring is that with the ACU's way in which we deliver education, it's very much based on the dignity of the person and working towards a common good. So we offer a distinctive curriculum that has community engagement embedded within its very way of existence. And my colleague Caroline there is our face of community engagement. So we work closely with different organizations, putting that academic theory into practice in communities. And I think what I would like to encourage women, especially when I look into this room, yes, we're a group of women and our very encouraging counterparts sitting with us as well. But it's always disheartening to hear about the sort of underemployment and under-recognition of the values and the talents that women bring to the table. And ACU, through its education platforms, is here to change that, and particularly looking at different ways in which education can be the key that opens up all these avenues and opportunities. And we have a number of foundation courses and programs that allow you to get into higher education despite where or what your life experiences have been, and we walk with you on that journey. So I'll encourage you to definitely find out more, and I will tell by the amount of chocolate you have in your hands. But just remembering the power that lies within you to be able to change the world with education as a key that you hold in your hand.
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing those insights. I can tell that Carolyn is going to be a real busy woman tonight after what you've said. And I love the punchline that you guys just gave us. Education is something that you never take away from you, regardless of whatever happens to you. So thank you. All right, now moving on to Detective Inspector Kylie Evans. Can you please share with us a little bit about how you and police work with the community, and what kind of issues do you see in Western Sydney in relation to women? And for a positive start, I've never seen a policewoman smiling so much, so I think that's a great thing.
It's because I'm scared. But I'd like to start off by just saying I had a chocolate in my hand, but I ate it. So thank you. Thanks for that. I'm a bit of a stander and a walker, so thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. It's really an honour to be here to talk to all of you. As it's been introduced, my name is Kylie Evans. Just a little bit of background. I've been in the police now for 26 years. Most of that I started as a probationary constable at Blacktown, just down the road here, a long time ago, and a bit younger and thinner and all those beautiful things. But here I am. And funny thing is, I've always worked Blacktown. I spent 3 years there. Then skipping a few little sections and stations, I've spent 14 years over at Mount Druitt. So most of my career has been in criminal investigation. I was designated about 4 or 5 years into my service, and a lot of that has been just basically at police stations over at Riverston, or then Quakers Hill. But most of my time has been dedicated to Blacktown, Quakers Hill, and majority at Mount Druitt. So my perspective is probably a bit different. I've dealt with the good and the bad. Generally, it's been an amazing career, a great career, and I encourage anyone who's thinking about it to come along and have a turn. It is amazing to reach into the community and actually have an effect. And I guess the other part of this, I can't go on without talking about policing and domestic violence. I'll just touch on it just a little bit. After the events of last Sunday, that's why I was a bit late today, because our guys that went there on Sunday, we had them back in on shift tonight. So we're cuddling them, keeping them close. They did an amazing job. And it just shows you how diverse and how amazing this career is, that we've got people that courage that can go there presented with those horrendous circumstances and still come to work the next day and the next week. So if you want to know something about resilience, definitely, it's down there in that police station. They're brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. I guess as a woman in policing, my husband and I are both in the job. That's police speak for police officers. And I guess for women, career leadership, if you want to talk about that, juggling careers and children. Now that's something interesting there. That's a whole nother world, but it can be done. You can do it. You may not do it all at once, but at some stage you'll grow through and you'll be able to get it done eventually. I'm one of 6 inspectors at Blacktown. I'm the only female inspector at Blacktown. My commander is a female, Superintendent Haywood. She's brilliant. And our Assistant Commissioner is female. So when you talk about female leadership, it's out there. It's great. How we can help with the community, policing-wise, we don't get called for a good time. Unless it's the Blacktown City Council who rings me and says, we've got this amazing event, and I'll pick a few guys who probably have a turn of doing something really amazing and send them to it, and that's great. Otherwise, we're not going to the good stuff. But domestic violence is one of our top priorities from the New South Wales Police Force. We have so many abilities to help community and work together with community. We have embedded in our police station here at Blacktown, we have got a DV team, 1 sergeant with 7 constables, just dealing with DV, dealing with offenders, catching up with those people, compliance checks for AVOs, just to see if the victim's okay, how they're travelling, or compliance checks with our offenders, to see how they're going. Are they drunk? Are they using drugs? Can we keep them on a straight and narrow? Can we refer them to different services? Policing is not all about going out, locking people up and leaving it. We have services available. Specifically, I'd like to talk about women. When you come to the police station, when a lady comes to the police station, wants to report something, we have a unit there, WDV CAS. They're there. It's a lady there, there's a couple of ladies there, brilliant ladies. It's funded by Legal Aid. They can come in after talking to a police officer, and those people can engage in support services. We are a connection for support services, so please don't think of us as just police force. We're there to connect with the community, and there are just a couple of ways we can do it. I need a timer because I'll keep going. But, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have other opportunities to speak to you. Of course, it is a real tough job that you're in, but clearly making a meaningful, purpose to the job. And also, now we know we have a friend in Blacktown Police Station. All right, so I would love to open it to the floor to actually hear from you. And, if you would like to ask any questions to the panel, and please spread out your questions to all of these panel members. They're like wonderful, wonderful talents here, waiting to hear your questions, to listen to you, and also to give you their insight. So let's make use of them, make use of their talent as we have them. Let's spread the love. Yes, I can see somebody over there raising their hand, and Harinder is next.
Hello, I'm Christy Good. Look, I'd just like to ask all of the panel members. A couple of years ago, I was at a function and I heard from a fabulous organisation called Dress for Success. And what they do is provide clothing, support for women who want to get back into the workforce for the first time or re-enter after having children. It's for people who can't afford clothes, basically to give them the tools that they need to present for a job, to keep turning up at that job. I don't know if that's something that's been considered in the Blacktown community, but to me it hits all of the marks. People fleeing domestic violence, people seeking to get an education, new people coming into Australia who, you know, buying a wardrobe so they can go to work. Is that something that has been considered, or is that service available in Blacktown?
Thank you. Very important question. Well, at Syd West, we do work very closely with Dress for Success, but I'm sure that apart from our own organisation, there are other organisations in the area that collaborate. We're only a phone call away. So any information, please give us a call. These are initiatives that the whole of the community sector is working together for, and we are attempting not to duplicate the work that, you know, such a fabulous organisation is doing, but rather expanding their reach across, you know, the whole of Western Sydney. And yes, so just come and talk to us at, you know, on the table after we finish, and we're more than happy to share some more information with you.
Thanks, Alpha. Harinder.
Hello, good evening. My name is Harinder Kaur and I'm from Harman Foundation. Firstly, congratulations to Blacktown City Council to having this forum and giving us opportunity to meet so many like-minded people. And my question is to Ms. Evans, Inspector Evans. Recently, I have been, I had an opportunity to go to the police station, Riverstone Police Station. So I would just want to share about like how much positivity which I gathered when I met the inspector and our sergeant. They gave us plenty of time, understood what we had to discuss about. So congratulations to the whole police department. You guys are doing awesome job. And I'm glad you mentioned about domestic family and sexual violence, which is on the top of the, is touching the, you know, beyond boundaries. And we are kind of all very, very confused, and complexity of things are going up and up in spite of so many resources are going into that. So my question is that in spite of that, we are putting a lot of resources, and New South Wales government is, you know, every mishap is connected with announcing more dollars into this sector. So what about the police role, which is so much vital and important? And what I have gathered that, because we quite deal with the police quite often, and they are, seems to be stretching their limits, under-resourced, and especially particularly multicultural community, which is Blacktown, kind of, it's their heart and soul. So many multicultural community people are living in this area, and generally language problem and other. So what we have gathered, they are under-resourced. Are we putting more, like, from your mouth, I just want to hear, like, what is the news that, is it you guys have been given more relief so that you can actually provide quality service to people who are well-deserving? And of course, your services are vital. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're very kind. I'm glad you had a good experience. First of all, I thought we were going to have a different avenue, but that's good. Okay, I'm good with that. I prepared some notes, just in case. In terms of police resourcing, yes, we are stretched. It's in the media. I'm not talking out of school. We are stretched. We are trying to recruit more and more, which is why I'm here tonight, to maybe encourage some people to think about it, or even family members to think about it. We would love to see more recruits. We're now changing our recruitment strategies. Hopefully that will, start to turn the ship around. We'd love to see more people from multicultural backgrounds enjoy the career that we all have. It's an amazing career. If you want to help people, it's an amazing career. In terms of domestic violence and resourcing, I can give you some information here. 40% of our arrests are related to the DV, domestic violence. 40% of our time and workload is domestic violence. 50% of our court matters are DV related. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot going on for us. Not even getting into mental health. Okay, that's something else that's challenging for us. But to lean into what we can provide the community, we have multicultural officers. We've just secured a fantastic Aboriginal liaison officer at Blacktown. We've also got our multicultural liaison officer. We've got our youth action meeting coordinator. They're fantastic people. They're not police officers. They're people who are from different backgrounds coming together and to enhance our way that we can do business and engage with our community. They're brilliant. They're at our disposal. We're using them all the time. In going back to the previous question, our DV team has just the simplest things up there to hand out to people who have just left that house, who we come up against at that moment in time. We've got handbags there. We've got supplies up in our office there for those people who have just fled that home. So yes, we do. We take some of those items that we may receive and we repurpose them for those reasons at all. To treat people with dignity, to treat those women with dignity, so they can have their handbag and they can put some property in there that night. So policing's a lot more than what you might see on the TV or in the movies. We have a SAMS meeting, which is a lot of non-government organisations come together with the police. And we sit in a room and we discuss a lot of cases, some high-risk cases, and we go around the room to see what services we can all take up and engage with that family. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to help women, men, anyone suffering from domestic or sexual violence. It's endless. I could talk to you all night about it. But I appreciate your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Inspector Evans. Yeah, so Councillor Griffith would like to add something.
Definitely, I'll stand up too because I'm getting numb. Look, a couple of things. When we set up the Women's Advisory back in 2018, the whole thing about it was how we could share information. And the reason I say that is that, and I don't want tonight to be just about DV, okay? There is more out there that we need to also cover as well as recruitment, as education and services. We know that Blacktown has got 50.1% women. We know that we are 436,000 residents, and we know that we're the third largest in New South Wales. So the more we grow, the more incidents there could be, and everyone thinks that we're number one on the list. We're not. Penrith is, okay? So just remember the size and the amount of inquiries that come through the police stations because of the size of our council, our LGA. It's massive, okay? Others are about a third of the size of Blacktown. The other thing I want to say that I have been championing with the council, the CEO and the mayor, and that is around the actual boundaries for the police. And no one understands this. It's a bit like a ward boundary, okay? So you've got Blacktown Area Command, you've got Mount Druitt, and Riverstone. Three wards. And when you talk about Riverstone, they're on the other side of Sunny Holt Road. They go all the way out to Marsden Park and then back up Richmond Road and come right up towards the showground. Now, how's that for an area of... I know, because they fly past my place doing 200 and something miles an hour to get where they've got to go. And think about their job. The police's job is to keep us safe, but we're not keeping them safe because they have to travel really fast to get where they need to get where there are emergencies. We have to change their boundaries to reflect their job, like the rest of us. And as I said, I know that our council has written to the Minister to consider the boundaries because of our growth. And a lot of us will complain because the police may not turn up or turn up in time, but you have to understand where they're coming from. Most of them are coming from Riverstone in my ward to places like Kings Lane and that. So I just want to lay the lay of the land about, you know, they've got boundaries as well and areas of coverage, and that, you know, we as a Women's Advisory set this up because originally when I was a director of Women Childcare, Youth and Childcare in one of the largest unions. When I came to council and someone I knew went through a domestic violence situation, they came to me and said, what do we do? Where do we go? We need to get money if we have to leave. That's the reason why I don't want to go. And I couldn't answer the question. So my whole idea, sorry Ernie, is that if it's about us having information that everyone who needs it to get to, because everyone around the table in the Women's Advisory said, oh, we do this, Julie, we do that. And I said, you know that, but the people on the ground don't know it. The women that are in houses that are stuck there don't know it. So it's about how we do get that information out to people. Okay, so that's how we started with our advisory. I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please. Before we move on, Elfa would like to put in a very quick comment.
I wanted to comment on Harinder's comment about resourcing. I think for an area like Western Sydney, and I won't focus on Blacktown alone, where we are the hub of diversity, our state government was very generous to, you know, provide all the financial resources to support domestic violence support services. But I think that when it comes to diversity and the nuances around culture and the way that domestic violence is addressed, it doesn't make it. I think there's desperate need for specialist support services when it comes to domestic violence. So I think that it's our responsibility collectively to keep advocating for it and not just being happy with, you know, the announcements around dollars and resources.
Thank you. Thanks, Elfa. So just to keep the night moving, we've actually got 7 more minutes of Q&A time. So Dr. Valentine is here. If, I can... Dr. Neeraj had actually raised her hand first, and I can see someone wearing red raising her hand after that. So if you could spread out the questions to the other panel members as well, that would be great. And also, Councillor Griffiths, you have to ask a question about women in leadership, please.
Thank you, Emmy. My name is Neeraj, and my question is to Dr. Valentine. As we know that there are women in the community who somehow facing gaps or breaks in their careers, like Ms. Evan rightly said, either because of children or because of some other factors around. Dr. Valentine, I would like you to tell us a bit more about like an advice or curriculum or programs out in the community that not only help women to come out from that cage. It could be because they want to stay in the comfort zone. It could be they're so hesitant to come out. It could be because there is an academic gap now because with the evolution and dynamic changes in the IT profession and many other professions, like they're feeling in their heart or in their mind, no, I'm too old school, I can't come out, I can't create my resume to that extent, or I cannot start from the scratch, from the entry-level position where I was 5 years ago in an executive role, and now because of some sort of breaks or gaps, I cannot go back into that. So is there some programs? I really want to know, and I'm sure many women out here would like to know, so that we can help them, and we can help them come out of home, come out of your zone, and the word is out there here for you to work again. That's my question.
Thank you very much for that question. So Just to begin to address the question, I think these are some of the difficulties that we find, particularly with women wanting to get back into education. So like I mentioned before, with ACU, we walk with you from where you are. And so we have a number of programs that actually work with individuals, with their aspirations, and even helping them explore the sorts of educational opportunities that would be available. And on that note, we do have an open day coming up on the 27th of May. And we do have some of that information at the table that you can pick up, and it's an opportunity to begin to explore the options. Now, in terms of the advice, speaking first of all about the age factor, I'm a strong believer that yes, age is nothing but a number, but then also for those who feel old, we have to remember that we remain young at heart. So if nothing at all, we walk into educational doors with that. But I think one of the things that we find is oftentimes women lack confidence simply because of career gaps, migration patterns, and that sort of thing. And I think one of the things that a lot of women do need to remember with that sort of lack of confidence factor is that there are opportunities. And one of the things that's also coming out of Western Sydney University in their employability area is how to articulate the sorts of capabilities. A lot of times women will talk about, oh, I've just been home with the kids and that sort of thing. And there are a lot of viral videos that go around with this woman talking about the skills that she possesses simply because of her caring responsibilities. And I think anyone who has children age 7 and below, or any children at all, knows that you're very well equipped for diplomacy, negotiation, project management, and everything that comes with that spectrum. And I think, unfortunately, we undervalue what these experiences bring. To be able to manage homes in that way takes a very particular kind of effort. It takes a very particular kind of skill. It takes a very particular kind of sentiment around which to deal with human beings around. And I think one of the areas is to look at how we can begin to speak about these sorts of skills in a transferable way. I believe there are a number of organizations that work with women around, resume writing, getting into employability and different facets. And one of the ways that we also address this from the university's perspective is, again, through our foundations programs. We have a number of programs where you can come into our Clemente program just to begin to get a feel about university life back again in a very non-threatening sort of environment. We also have a lot of foundation studies program. What you will find with the ACU education sort of approach to it is that you will get the help and the support that you need to walk into these uncharted territories. We have a lot of our staff members in the different programs who will stay with you and explore with you the sort of options. At our Main Street campus, we have the Ask ACU office, and that's your one-stop shop for any information. So they'll sit with you and talk with you through your career options, education options, what you want to explore. So it's literally just a conversation away. And I would just encourage all the women who are feeling that level of hesitation to know that it just needs the first step. Being a woman means you will go the rest of the way, but that first step is often the most difficult, and that's where we're here to help you take that first step with education opportunities.
Thank you so much. I know that there is one last person who's raised her hand, so if we can make it really crisp. So the person over there at the back of the room.
My name is Nanette, and I have lived in Blacktown for over 26 years. Every day, I catch the train, and I don't feel safe. That train station and Main Street, for many, many years, there's always people there screaming. Now, when I walk and go to West Point and do my grocery, I've got people shoving on my face all these religious flyers. Now, I would like to know what the council is doing about it, because this is not new, and also the police is doing about it, because I don't like going down after, when I come back from work, I want to go and do my grocery, I don't feel safe. And it's been happening for quite a long time and hasn't changed. So I would like to find out, is there any changes? Is there something that can be done so that women like myself would feel safe going to the train station? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. And I know for a fact, since being on council, and even when I was a child and I used to catch my train to Blacktown Station before I caught my bus, you know, people have always hung around the station, all right, in all shapes and forms. You know, whether they're religious people or not, freedom of association, they can hand out their paraphernalia. But our council devised a space between the station and West Point where people could go and hang around. Kerry, I can't remember what the name of it was called. Yeah, the Patrick Street Mall. So we did some work in that to try and provide another safe space. And I know for a fact that through talking and working with the police and Blacktown Council, because we do have advisory committees that feed this information into, and they liaise with the police on a regular basis and who also sit on council's committees about what kind of things can we do in regards to making the space a bit safer for women. So I think because it's also a state asset, which is state government, but we can talk about the council's part, and we can also let the police talk about what the police have been doing, because they have been doing a lot of work down at that station.
Yes, the police. The Blacktown and Seven Hills are railway stations. Railway stations are, you already know this, people who can't drive cars because they're disqualified, suspended, whatever, they're making their way, or they've got to get somewhere, they've got to make their way through our railway network. We have police, which is where my husband works, at Police Transport Command. Those police are additional or a separate unit to Blacktown Police Station. Those police generally will be on that train network all the time. They go from Parramatta all the way through to Penrith, all the way up through Springwood to Katoomba. We have police in plain clothes, okay? We have police from our Transport Command. We are networked heavily with our friends at Sydney Trains. We are networked with their CCTV. If we get a call, I'll explain it, if we get a call for something happening at the railway station, our radio network is contacting our Sydney Trains CCTV room so that we can get the information accurately and correctly. We do have enhanced HVP, high visibility police, that we do put out additional shifts out to those areas because we know they attract people who, you know, we've got a higher risk with those people, okay? They're hanging around, they're bored, they get up to mischief, and we do engage with those people. It is an interesting question. I wish I could tell you I've got 100 police and I'll send out there right now. I simply don't. And we do the best we can, and when we do get those phone calls, and that's important to know to the community, ring us, let us know. I understand it might seem, you may not see us turn up, but we're getting that data, we're getting the information from community so that we can track where these problem sites are. Doesn't mean we won't go back and get CCTV and have a look and identify, because I can guarantee you we've probably come across these offenders quite a bit and we know them. So I can know little Johnny's been out there harassing this nice lady who's trying to catch a train, and I can go and talk to little Johnny a bit later and give him a little bit of a conversation. Okay? But please feel like, and please do, contact the police and let us know. We do have a lot of resources there, and we do task our police with intelligence like that information, so that we can suppress and deter that behaviour. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. We'll take that one last question from the person who stood up earlier from the back of the room, if you can make it really quick.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Marwa Abu Zaid, the founder of Art Vision Creative Services, and I live in Rouse Hill area. And my question to Elfa in regards to the Sydwest branch in Rouse Hill. It was great to have such kind of services in the Northwest area, but it's so sad to see it closing down recently. So my question, is there any new branches coming up in this area or not? Because, you know, the Northwest is a destination for so many new arrivals, especially women who have no connections, who needs a place just to build friendship, start to understand the Australian life, and find support to get them introduced to all the services we could offer here. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. You must be the only person that is looking for an open office in Rouse Hill. It is unfortunate that we had to make that business decision and close the office in Rouse Hill, but that doesn't mean that because we don't have a physical presence there in an office, that we are not delivering services in the area. So we can have a conversation afterwards and see what the needs are, and we can support. Our funding agreements still cover Rouse Hill, so we're still there offering our services. But thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone, for your wonderful questions and the respectful discussion. And thank you, ladies, for your, sharing all your insights tonight. I know that we've all been sitting for too long. Everyone wants a stretch break. However, before that, let me please call upon Mayoress Norma Bunting to actually give some flowers to these wonderful ladies.
Thank you.